What's up, everybody? It's Sid and Millie back with another episode, chatting about Manchester United's preseason game against AC Milan today. So, thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
We're going to get right into it.
Yeah, it was, honestly, just hard to watch.
Yeah.
Really, really hard to watch from start to end. Just really poor from United. I'm not sure what happened, what's going on, but today just was not it. Today
Yeah.
was just not it. I will say on the flip side, once again, as we've been reiterating throughout like the last few games, it is preseason. We know that. We're aware of this. And honestly, getting a performance like this out of the system is probably a good thing.
Yeah, no, honestly, that's very true. It does show a lot of growth spots. It shows a lot of pain points and shows what still needs to be worked on. That's a great point. And it's good to get this out of the way in preseason.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, again, like you said, like there's going to be a lot of areas that can now be touched on, can now be fixed, a lot of areas for improvement, and also a little bit of humility brought into the side as well. I think like throughout preseason, the group has gotten closer together. They've meshed well as a group. They understand the system. But now, I think they needed a little bit of humbling, a little bit of humility. And I'm glad, again, that it happened in preseason at this point, and have a team really kind of have, set a standard and show to United that there's more work to be done. We haven't won the Premier League yet. We haven't gotten into the Champions League late stages yet. We're not in the FA Cup final, right? Like everything right now around United and the new team and with Carrick and the new season is, it's hype. It's a feeling that we have from watching the team.
Yeah.
And today, I think everybody got brought back down a little bit to reality, to the reality that this is still a work in progress.
Yes.
And it will still be a work in progress because, again, Carrick hasn't even had a full year in charge yet at the club. So it's really important to continue to back the manager and continue to give the team time to progress and be ready for these sorts of games because inevitably these are the sorts of games we're going to see in the Champions League.
Yeah, that's true.
So this was a baseline Champions League test. And we failed. United failed the test today, but now we kind of know what to do, hopefully, to move forward from this result.
Yeah, that's a great point. That is such a good point. I mean, it was a test, and like you said, this is a more like Champions League-esque kind of game that we would see happen.
Yeah.
So it was a good thing to see. As again, especially in preseason, we want to see what those kinks that need to be worked out are, and like we want to see that brought back in the actual season, the full season. We want to see them execute in these sorts of games in a way that isn't like, they got played on a little bit. They got played on.
Yeah, they did. But also, to your point, it's like, these sorts of games do exist. They will happen, right? There are going to be games where a team is just having it. They're playing well, they're flowing well, and it's hard to get close to them. But the key to that is, how do you manage that? How do you disrupt it? And I feel like United really didn't do enough to in game solve for the problems we were having.
Yeah.
It was very clear that the outnumber, what would you say, like the mismatch in midfield with their excessive numbers in the midfield compared to our three midfielders was not working, right?
Yeah.
It was very obvious very on that Bruno, Tielemans, Santos were not able to mark the extra guy in midfield. It was very clear. So for me, I'm just like, where's the in-game transition? Where's the in-game change to manage for a clear imbalance that is getting us picked apart? But, we didn't make that adjustment. There was no adjustment in the way we were playing from our key guys. And that was a little bit frustrating for me.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, how would you go about like making that in-game adjustment? What would you say should have happened in that situation?
First things first, we needed to just maintain possession. United, every time they won the ball back, because AC Milan was the dominant in possession-wise. The possession stat was definitely in their court.
Okay.
So when we were winning the ball back, we were just trying to explode forward way too quickly. We're looking for balls that are going to be one pass and a goal, looking to slip players in behind, which is good. It can be utilized properly, but not every single time. We needed Bruno or Tielemans to put their foot on the ball and be okay with passing and maintaining possession and gaining a little bit of control over the match. So it stopped turning into the track meet that it inevitably was for United. They had us running all over the pitch because we could not get close because we were outmanned in the midfield. And that made a huge difference because then we were late to everything after that. We had guys out of position trying to press in areas to make up for someone else being late or out of position or just getting beat. And then they're slipping passes in behind. It was just a mess. Like we just were not like fully locked into how to deal with their formation and the way that they were trying to play.
Okay, yeah, that's super valid. Yeah. So definitely something that they could have done a little bit better on.
Yeah. We just needed someone who was okay with stopping the quick transition and being like, no, we're going to maintain possession. But again, our midfielders weren't feeling that confidence because of the fact that they were outnumbered in the midfield. So naturally, they weren't feeling as confident in possession of the ball because of the fact they were outnumbered in the midfield.
Got it.
So they didn't necessarily want the ball in those spaces. And it was harder to find our midfielders when we did have the ball because of the fact that they were outnumbered. So they couldn't really get into good spots. And then when they were in good spots, they didn't have good options because, again, AC Milan was doing a good job of closing them down in the midfield as well. Go ahead.
Well, do you think that has anything to do, because I know you mentioned the pivot last time and you mentioned how that, like, players will kind of switch back and forth. Do you think that there's like a lack of clear responsibility with that 100%, sometimes?
100%. Okay. Yeah. I think right now United has to define a clear six. Who is going to be the six? Who is willing to give up going forward and focus on their defensive responsibilities in protecting the back four? We have to have a six.
Yeah.
We have to have a six. We cannot function without it.
That's fair.
Casemiro sat in the hole. He, got opportunities to go forward, but primarily on set pieces. Otherwise, he knew his responsibility. He sat in the hole. I know Santos was trying to do it today, but again, like the switching with Tielemans, it creates a little bit of that unbalance in those transitional moments when we were losing the ball. And that was happening a lot today. Man United was losing the ball when we were trying to quickly transition and catch them on the break. And so our guys were out of position. So then it was, okay, we've lost the ball. Now we're trying to put pressure on the ball immediately. But because guys are out of position because we've lost the ball in a poor spot, AC Milan is just knocking the ball around us and switching the point of play.
Yeah.
And then we're running 50, 60 yards to cover back and try and get into a defensive shape, which we weren't always able to do. Lemons had saves today. So, I mean, we were just fully disjointed. We didn't have the intensity. We didn't win second balls. They weren't going after, tackles like AC Milan was. Yeah. I was thinking to myself internally at one point, the AC Milan guys are trying to hurt our players.
Yeah, it did kind of seem like that.
It seemed like that, right?
Like that. I was like, did he tell them to injure people?
Literally. Right. They had a certain level of intensity in the game, in their tackles, in their challenges, and United didn't have that. That is just the reality. And then United on the flip side was committing a lot of stupid fouls. Yes, you could argue that some of the fouls were soft and maybe wouldn't be fouls in the Prem. But at the same time, there's a difference between going into a tackle strong and committing a stupid foul. There's a clear difference. AC Milan was going into tackles strong, winning tackles strong and fairly and challenging strong.
Yeah.
We were not doing that. And that makes a huge difference. Once again, you have to win second balls, especially in the midfield and especially in key areas in outside areas. In outside, like around our 18 sorts parts of the pitch.
Yeah.
Like, those are key spots. And we just weren't winning those battles. So many times they were able to get in behind Luke Shaw or get in behind Dallo or in the first half, getting in behind Mazraoui. It was just too easy.
Yeah, I hear that.
It's just too easy. And every time it was coming off of the exact same thing. They were playing into the midfield overload. Tielemans, Bruno, Santos could not get close to any of them because they were outnumbered in the midfield. They played into the midfield, played wide to one of the wing backs, inevitably slip forward. You know what I'm saying? It was overload.
Yeah, there was a lot of open space whenever they had the ball attacking United's goal. There was a lot of open space where United just wasn't at. And I don't know why. I feel like I'm confused by that. I feel like their defensive shape and their defense has been really strong recently. So I'm kind of confused as to what happened with the missing those, missing the wide open people on the sides. I didn't really get that.
Well, it was just like the difference in formation. But again, to your point, when we played against Atletico Madrid a couple weeks ago, Atletico Madrid also plays with a back five. So, or like a 3-back system, whatever you want to call it, however you want to refer to it. We know that it's like a back five, like defensively. But it's a 3-back system. But, when Atletico played that formation against United, United was truly dominant, forced them back into the back five, forced them in their own half. We had most of the possession, most of the shots, most of the chances created. So I was assuming going into this game that we were bringing that same sort of energy, understanding how to play against a formation like this with a 3-back system. But clearly, just we didn't have the same efficacy that we did against Atletico Madrid today at all, across the board. And 75 degrees isn't that hot. I'm going to say it's not that hot.
It really isn't. I was shocked that they were doing hydration breaks. I mean, obviously, yes, hydrate. We love hydrating. We're drinking water right now. So we definitely don't want to shame anybody for hydration breaks. But at the same time, it's 75 degrees. I know you've played in hotter temperatures with no hydration breaks, so I don't know, but good for them. Get your water, I guess.
Hell, man. That's all I'll say. But it was massively disappointing. But anyway, let's get into the ins and outs of the game and specifics of what little actionable things. So
yeah, definitely. Well, because I feel like at the beginning you could kind of tell United wasn't the stronger team in possession, but they had the goals, right?
Well, we started off with the 1-0 kind of off of the kickoff, essentially. United started the game, played forward immediately, won a corner kick. Bruno to Maguire, header, we're winning inside of 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I wonder if that messed up their psychology. I wonder if the early goal, if the United players were like, oh, this is about to be a rout.
Yeah.
Maybe the early goal messed with the mentality.
See, but that's the mentality I don't want to see from United, because I feel like we had that mentality. They had that mentality in so many games, and they would go in confident. They would go in thinking, oh, this is an easy game.
Especially off a big win.
Yes, this team they're not as good as us and everything. And I don't know, that can't be the mindset you're going in with. 100%. So to that point, maybe the goal made them feel really
a little too comfortable.
Really good.
And another thing, it's just you're playing against your freaking former manager, bro. Don't you want to kind of show him up, kind of blast it, embarrass him type shit. That was what I was kind of thinking. This was going to be like a cup tie. I was thinking United was going into it with a certain level of intensity, wanting to kind of shove it up. Ruben, F you, man. That's kind of what I was thinking.
Yes.
I was kind of hoping for that. We're in the car. I'm like, man, this game, it's a real game. They're about to come out with crazy intensity. And then the game starts. We get the goal 2 minutes in. I'm like, yes, this is what I'm talking about. Let's make it horrible for them. Let's make Amorim's day terrible. And then it's after the goal, we just turned it back off.
Yeah, what happened?
2 minutes into the game, lads, and we're turning it back off.
I know.
Preseason or not, that's unacceptable.
Agreed.
Unacceptable.
100% agreed.
It just wasn't good enough. The early goal, I think it was just a little bit of disillusionment that allowed that to go in. And then
exactly.
And then AC Milan settled into the game with their possession. At that point in the game, United was pretty comfortable in our defensive shape. But it didn't take very long for AC Milan to have a first opportunity, which forced a save from Lemens, in which they were able to get around our left side, get a cross in to the middle, force Lemens to make a save. So even though we were in our shape and weren't necessarily like worried. Like we still weren't like, we didn't have our same defensive prowess that we've had in the past preseason games.
No.
We weren't necessarily like getting close to people. We weren't trying to stop the cross. We weren't sliding to stop crosses. It was like we were playing like 50%.
Yeah, there was a huge lack of intensity in the game. Yeah. Huge lack of intensity. From United, yeah. Like so bad, because I feel like there were so many plays where we were like, okay, play, run through, play, like pass, go, so shoot methodical. Yourself, like do anything.
So methodical today. And again, like preseason is really the time where you want to be trying shit. You want to be doing stuff. You want to be testing those shots from distance. Those are the sorts of things that you want to be getting into the rhythm of in preseason. But instead, it was just like a very lackadaisical performance, a really like nonchalant, like,
just like
we're just here to kick about type of day.
I don't get that.
I don't understand that either.
You came to work today and just didn't want to do the thing.
It was like a Monday in the office for them. They were just like, I'm not doing shit today. It just that wasn't okay. Hull City next week, first game of the Premier League. They are going to show up to play.
Yes.
They're going to show up fit. They're going to show up hungry. They're going to be showing up to make a point from day one. So the United players, let this be a lesson that these teams are coming out with intensity from the jump. I get that we were building team morale, that we're doing these things. Guys, it's time to lock in now. The season is starting. We don't have any time for those sorts of performances in the normal season, because those are the sorts of performances that see a team like Hull put 3 past you. And that's the reality.
We've seen it.
You cannot mess around in the Premier League, and you cannot mess around in the Champions League. I mean, there's really no games you can mess around with if we're trying to be a serious footballing club this season, right now. So, with that said, trust in Michael Carrick.
Yes. With all that said, nothing changes from where we stand.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely not. Preseason, we get it. Every single preseason game, despite all of the pros we've seen, all of the goals we've seen, and the good football we've seen, we have always had an asterisk next to it, saying, this is preseason. We know that they are trying to get through the ropes, but now it is time to get moving, get the gears turning. Now the whole squad is back. The reintegration has happened. We now have to lock in on what really matters, winning the Premier League. So how do we get there from this a performance like this?
Yeah, that's the question, right?
We've got to tighten up in a lot of areas. I think Ineos, today was your sign. We need a little bit more help. Yeah. I love Lukey to death. He's going to need a little bit of help on the left side. We need somebody in the mid. We need a 6. Nobody was playing like a 6 today. I'm sorry, I didn't see it. I love Santos. He's had a phenomenal preseason. He's looked very sharp all preseason. But today, in a game where United had very little of the ball in possession, a lot of our guys got exposed in terms of their off-the-ball tracking and defensive actions. You know what I mean? We were late to a lot of tackles, did not challenge for a lot of second balls. So, without the ball, we've got to figure out how we want to defend against good teams. Because if we think we're going to walk into the Emirates or walk into whatever city stadium's called, or walk into Stamford Bridge and just breeze past them, it's delusional. It will not happen. Those teams are going to show up to play, and they will likely at times in matches have large portions of the ball. So United has to figure out, how do we defend against that? Yeah. How can we stay compact in those moments? And when we win the ball, how can we attack smart? How can we read the game? We cannot be looking for slip through balls every single time we win the ball, guys. I'm sorry, it's not sustainable. It's turning the games into track meets for our forwards. That's then making them more tired and unable to then complete their defensive actions, which is then hurting us even more in the long run. It's hurting you guys, because then you're sprinting forward to try and join the attack if it does come off. Or if we lose the ball, now you're immediately defending again. Stop. Take a breath. Connect your first pass. Let's connect one pass before we go long.
Yeah.
There's a famous footy drill that we do from the young ages up onto adulthood. It is called short, short, long. 2 short passes followed by a longer pass. That is what I want all of our players to lock in on. Fight that initial urge when you see that first runner. Fight it. Can we maintain possession first? Can we move the ball a little bit? Can we build into the game and then start looking for those sorts of things? But it was giving a little desperate today.
Yeah.
It was giving a little like, we've got to do something. It was a little desperation.
Yeah.
We don't need to be playing desperate. We have the players to move the needle for us in big matches.
Yeah.
Ahmad doesn't need through balls in behind. Ahmad wants the ball at his feet to run at people.
Facts.
Come on,
that's
guys.
What he does.
We know that. Same with Cunha. We're trying to, yes, every once in a while, Cunha's going to make a run and we should reward him and try and see if he can get in behind.
Of course.
But most of the time, Cunha's a ball runner. He wants the ball at his feet so he can run with the ball.
I know. I feel like it was almost so panicky because their like defense was really strong. Like they were all over United's players. I just feel like every time United had the ball, it looked so like everything was so short or like so slow. Like they couldn't really figure out their own rhythm in the game, I feel like.
I 100% agree. It was like in moments we had times where someone was on the ball and they're taking 3, 4, 5 touches to connect one simple pass, when that needs to be done in 2 touches, 3 touches at max if you have to correct your first touch. But, those things, the touch numbers need to come down substantially. And then, again, because the ball holder was taking so long on the ball with those multiple touches, everybody was getting marked up in the midfield. No matter what movement our midfielders were making, by the time our ball carrier was making their 4th touch, there was now an AC Milan defender with our guys.
Yep.
So there wasn't a lot of time for Bruno, for Tielemans to even take a touch on the ball and look around, because by the time they were receiving the ball, there was someone right with them. And that is largely why we were seeing so many of those forced passes, because our midfielders were immediately under pressure.
Yeah.
And again, like we know the ways to try and combat that. Today, we didn't see Maguire or Heaven ping that diag a single time.
No, I feel like we didn't hear so many players' names. Like, I feel like we didn't really, it was just a quiet game. It really was. Like, we had the 2 goals, which were awesome. We talk about those.
Yeah.
But other than that, I just feel like, I don't know. There
wasn't a lot.
It was lackluster. I think you said that. I think it was just like,
yeah, it was. And I mean, I feel like what really would have helped United in a game like this would have been the perfect time to kind of utilize the withdrawn forward, but to give that on-field instruction of, hey, we're switching to the withdrawn forward. So in this case, I think it was Cunha who started up top in the 9.
He started up there.
So if in this case, when we realized we were mismatched in the midfield, we should have had Cunha drop into the midfield as the withdrawn forward, but actually play as a 4th midfielder, and then allow Ahmad and Dorgu to stay as our hide, sort of wide, but more tucked inside guys, to allow Cunha more of that freedom to continue to go forward, but giving him more actual midfield defensive responsibilities. He ended up in those positions a lot of times anyway, because we were unable to pick up the ball.
Right.
But if we would have maybe dropped him off of the center back, since he was so outnumbered with 3v1, at times I feel like maybe he could have helped us in the midfield more. That's so true. That we could have a little bit maintained possession. But again, I just felt like every time we did get the ball, it was just like you said, panicked.
Yeah, genuinely. I feel like I barely even saw Cunha on the ball at all.
Yeah, I mean, we just didn't play to our strengths at all.
Yeah,
I mean, my notes for some of the first half were literally just like, struggling to maintain possession.
Yeah.
Like struggling to keep the ball. Ahmad had some really good pressing moments in the first half, where he was able to pick the ball up off a center back and create something. I think we got a corner off of one of them. So again, we know the high press can work when it's executed successfully. But there weren't too many times in which we were able to successfully execute it today. But again, Ahmad showing that when he gets it right, and when he goes, he's going to punish teams immediately. So that's super important.
Absolutely.
That's a good sign. I think, Ahmad was one of the more positive names on our team sheet today. Kind of per normal. We've been singing his praises throughout this preseason. And yeah, Ahmad was one of our top guys today because he was still trying. He was understanding. He was the one who was putting his foot on the ball, trying to maintain the possession, but also the one who was trying to make runs in behind to kind of do what the midfielders behind him were asking of him. So credit to him for his work rate today and the things he was trying to do. But, we just weren't on it. United just wasn't on it. And so when you have fantastic attacking players, but the majority of their game is spent defending, they're losing that energy for attacking. They're losing that energy for creation. And so that was kind of the reality today. Our guys were running a track meet as AC Milan was playing all around us. And we didn't really create a whole ton.
No, not at all. Yeah. Do you think, because I feel like we haven't really talked about Bruno and his game. I know he was having maybe a bit of a rougher day today, but do you think that would have been solved by having a true six? Or do you think?
I mean, maybe. I mean, I think, one thing with Bruno, the first penalty miss, all laughs, giggles. All right, fine. Today now, Bruno, that was also a pretty poor penalty. It wasn't in the corner, went for power, but a very perfect height for a goalkeeper. The goalkeeper didn't even have to stretch for it. It basically hit him in the body. And, again, that's just is not good enough. I know it's preseason, but, again, we're trying to go through the paces, Typically, when Bruno steps up for a penalty kick, you can close your eyes and know that the net's going to be rattled afterwards. But now, after 2 misses in preseason, I can't lie. I'm a little nervous for the first pen we get in the Prem. It's hard not to be because that's 2 different techniques, 2 different misses, 2 different corners he aimed at. So I'm like, what's going on? So yeah, again, I know it's preseason, guys are getting back, but our first game is next week.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's Saturday. I'm pretty sure the Community Shield's this weekend, which means the Prem we're coming up soon in the next couple of days. So the Prem is right around the corner. So we don't, again, get it out of the system on one end. Yes, it's out of the system now, but now we're going to need to rebuild up the confidence of seeing some of those rattle the net to kind of have that faith.
Absolutely. They've got their work cut out for them in training this week for sure.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I mean, around 15 minutes into the first half, United kind of had a little bit of possession, but lost pretty quickly. It was rough. So I don't know if the Tielemans, Bruno, Santos balance is quite there. It could just be because it was the first time starting together, first time kind of getting a feel for it. But definitely, obviously, being outnumbered never helps you. Obviously, it's really brutal playing outnumbered in the midfield. If you haven't done it, don't recommend it.
It makes sense. I mean, you'd be literally just surrounded all the time.
Yeah, I think there was a game in college I played as a 6 and we were outnumbered in the midfield. And I think my total mileage was 11 miles at the end of the game. How much I ran.
Insane.
Yeah, I think I literally 11 miles. I think.
And you're sprinting back and forth. That's not an easy.
It feels like you're alone in there. That's the thing. I was a 6. I felt like I was alone. My teammates probably felt like they were alone. That's how it feels when you're outnumbered.
Wow.
Because it's there's always another guy open. So it's I'm sprinting to try and put pressure on him. Now he's passing to the other midfielder. But I still have that responsibility. So it's I got to try and get back behind the ball again. It's a lot. So that's why, again, when you're outnumbered, it's so important that 1, somebody's 6, but 2, you recognize it early to make that adjustment. Because that's what we needed today. We needed that adjustment to kind of clog back up the midfield.
Why did it have to be so rigid? These are your positions and this is how you're going to play, sort of thing.
This definitely was a more rigid game for United as well. But again, I think that came from United just literally not being used to being dominated. This was the first game in preseason that a team really dominated United and held more of the ball and forced us off the ball and really was going into tackles. This was the most intense preseason game United have had.
Definitely.
And that's why I say they failed the test.
Yeah.
And that this was a test of intensity more than anything.
Facts.
And they really failed that test of intensity. And so I think it was the first time for this group getting outpossessed, getting outpassed, getting moved around the pitch, having to do some fitness. That's what United has been doing to everyone in preseason.
True.
So the
script flipped. The script flipped.
And yeah, we just weren't prepared to deal with that adversity at all.
Not at all. Yeah. So again, like, it's good to see in preseason, because then you can learn from it. You can see, okay, these are where the holes were, these are where the gaps were. This is what needs to be fixed. So hopefully that's what is happening in training.
Exactly. And like one of the goal, AC Milan's second goal, it came off of United's own throw-in. We basically threw the ball straight to the feet of one of their guys. Maguire and Santos tackled each other and trying to tackle the forward. And they just went in, easy tap in goal. And like, I don't understand it. Again, Mazraoui is a fantastic defender, but I just want to say generally, for anybody who's playing as an outside back, the same way you don't play square passes to your teammates in the match is the same thing with the throw-in. The throw-in is a pass. You do not throw the ball square across your midfield back into play. If you do not have a good option, chuck it up the line and let's readjust, right? Like, I want to see common sense things being done correctly. And common sense is when you're outnumbered and being dominated in the midfield, you don't throw the ball into the midfield and hope our midfielder is now going to win a challenge. I just don't want that. I want us to recognize what's happening in the game and recognize that we need to put the ball back in their half and throw the ball forward. Those are the sorts of in-game decisions I'm talking about, where it's like, this has to be like, we have to all be so tuned in on these little micro things that shit like that doesn't happen.
Yeah, because then you'll avoid all of that if you're actually paying attention to the little minuscule things.
Exactly.
It's the little things, right?
100%. It starts with the throw-in. It starts with two guys tackling each other, going after the same player because they obviously didn't communicate as to who was going where. Right? It's the other center back not sliding across fast enough. I mean, it's a lot of things that lead up, but it starts with that turning off, not being tuned into the moment and what is happening in the match. And there was a lot of that. There was so much of that.
Definitely.
So United, we went back ahead 2-1. Patrick Dorgu. Phenomenal pressure.
That was great from Dorgu. That was a great goal.
100%. Again, highlighting when we get the press right, it works. We can press teams, we can cause them problems, and we can punish them immediately when we get the press right. So well done to Patrick Dorgu. He did it. He got it done. It was a solo effort. The defender kind of passed it straight to him, but he had a lot of composure and poise in the finish to make sure he got it on target.
Because he almost slipped and fell as he was getting the ball because he had to run forward a little bit and then caught himself, and great finish.
And then again, there wasn't really too much spectacular going on. United didn't create a bunch of opportunities. We saw some substitutions. Great to see Martinez back from injury. We know he picked up that injury in the World Cup final. So really great to have him back into the team. We know that he is such a great passer of the ball. I just want to say it right now. If Ineos is unable to find another midfielder, put Martinez in the 6. He is composed on the ball. He's a butcher. And he is going to connect passes and play forward. I know he's a center back. But he is arguably one of the most technical center backs in the entire world. Arguably. Arguably one of the most technical center backs there is. Put Martinez as our 6. I guarantee you we're going to win the ball back a lot more. That's all I'll say. If we cannot do the business to bring in a 6, or if we're not going to establish a pure 6 in our thing, I think in moments in games when we recognize, like today, that we're outnumbered, let's put Martinez as a 6. We got to do it because we need to win the ball. We've proven today that we are a team that wants and needs to have the ball, have possession of the ball to influence the game. So with that in mind, we got to do what it takes to win the ball, even if that means sending our butcher into the midfield.
Why not?
Got to do it sometimes.
Why not?
So anyway, good to see Martinez back. Very technically gifted. What a great player. But again, the height thing with those challenges with the balls over the top, it's always going to be a point of contention for him. Like at the end of the day, the forward was much taller, pretty strong, and caused Martinez issues back there.
Yeah.
Again, we're not going to see that with Maguire and Heaven as a matchup. So again, something to think about. Do we play into Martinez's technical ability and allow our center backs to give us that height? Or even put Martinez at left back. I mean, he's done it before. We know he can do it. Anyway, enough on Martinez. But anyway, that's my thought. We saw Rashford, the reintegration.
Yeah.
Good to see Rashford back. I think he can help us, again, in a game where we don't have the ball. It doesn't matter which attacking players you put on the field.
True.
You know what I'm saying? We could have put Mbappe up front today. We didn't have the ball.
Yeah.
So what were we going to do?
It's true.
No one. So anyway,
no, it's true.
Rash did have a good play right around the 70-minute mark where he sprinted a guy down, slide tackled him, won the ball back for United, got into a good space, back heel to Luke Shaw, and we got a cross in. No one got onto the end of it. But again, that started from Rashford, from the high press. And again, highlighting that when we press teams higher up the field, press those defenders, we can cause issues. So that was good to see. We saw Lacey come in, Mainu back from vacation as well. Again, the midfield was a terrible place to be today. Like I wouldn't have wanted to touch the midfield with a 90-foot goal. I mean, being outnumbered is the worst thing in the world. It is the worst thing in the world. And yes, I obviously know there were still 11 people on the pitch, but I'm talking about the midfield battle, the midfield dynamic specifically. Our three midfielders were absolutely outnumbered in the midfield. It's a fact.
Point blank period on that.
So that was that with our subs. I thought Lacey was a bright spot when he came on. I think every time Lacey gets the ball, he's trying to do something positive. I really appreciate that kid. He's doing fantastic. I think he's going to be important for us. Kind of a similar situation when you don't got the ball, our attacking players ain't going to be utilized and ain't going to make much happen because they need the ball. But yeah, I think Lacey once again came on, brought that energy, and I think he can help us. I think we'll see a lot of good things from Lacey this season. If not in the Premier League, then at least in the League Cup, FA Cup. I think he's going to find minutes for sure in those sorts of games.
Cool. Yeah, that's exciting. I mean, I got to take away some positives too.
Yeah, definitely. And then, we already talked about Milan's second goal off the throw-in. So, I mean, the third and fourth goal, they just played right through us. I mean,
and I mean 2 goals in 3 minutes is crazy.
just like so the lack of intensity. I'm surprised, with Maguire out there, with Bruno out there, with Tielemans and his experience.
Maguire took a shot from distance today too.
Yeah, and Maguire's shot was fire. But again, that was out of frustration.
I know.
He's doing that because he's pissed. Maguire doesn't want to be shooting that.
I know.
But he's doing it because he's livid because of what's happening around him. I don't know. I don't know what happened today. Again, preseason, we're going to write this off. We still trust in the group. We still trust in the lads. Everybody has off days in the office. They needed to get this out of the system to move forward, going into the real season. But I think a lot of Man United fans, especially me, one of the early callers for Amarim's head back in the day, I think, I really wanted us to show up and beat the brakes off of AC Milan and really kind of shove it in Amarim's face. So a little disappointed that didn't happen. But at the end of the day, we're in Champions League football. They're not. We've got a lot to prove this season. We've got multiple trophies to play for. Preseason is now over. All training wheels off. Heavy gear ahead. Full steam ahead. It's time to get the season started. United, we've got a lot to work on, but at the end of the day, we trust in the squad. We trust in Carrick. We trust in the vision. We've seen so much of it last season. We've seen glimpses in preseason. We know that we're going to trust this manager, trust in this group of lads to get us across the line. It's going to happen. Today was just one of those days. So let's chalk it up to that. And let's chalk it up to we're glad it's out the system now.
Yes, absolutely.
Anything else?
No.
Any other thoughts? All right. Well, those were our thoughts on Manchester United's 4-2 defeat in preseason to AC Milan. Preseason comes to a little bit of a disappointing close, but a little bit of humility and and a little bit of fitness never did anybody bad. So let's hope that United turn this around quickly for the season, for the opener against Hull City. So let's get going. Up the Reds, back Michael Carrick, back United. This is our squad. Let's do it. Let's move forward. Full force support behind the group going into the season. No excuses. If you're a fan of the club, you should be supporting every single player as they are all contributing to the end goal, which is raising that Premier League and raising that Champions League. So lean into it. Lean into Michael Carrick. Trust in the vision. Up the Reds. Come on. Glory, glory, Man United.
Up the Reds. Glory, glory, Man United. Indeed. So if you made it this far.
Thanks for watching.
And we will see you next time.
Peace.
Bye. Catch the board later.